Well, ladies and gentlemen, I must say that today I was rather excited to read the news. I really wanted to know what was the latest scenario in the South African days of our lives. But before we get on to the main news story, can I yet again remind you, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support the work that I do here, you're welcome to buy me a coffee. Coffee machine's a bit low. Anyway, before we get on to the more humorous articles, something that's not so humorous. And the first is that following a deadly attack in India by some Pakistani nationals, the Indian government has revoked all visas from Pakistani nationals. And this is the comment made by the Indian leaders. You can see it here.
Any Pakistani national currently in India under SPES visa has 48 hours to leave India. Recognizing the seriousness of this terrorist attack, the CCS decided upon the following measures. 1. The Indus Waters Treaty of 1960 will be held in abeyance with immediate effect until Pakistan credibly and irrevocably abjures its support for cross-border terrorism. 2. The integrated checkpost Atari will be closed with immediate effect. Those who have crossed over with valid endorsement may return to that route before 1 May 2025. Pakistani nationals will not be permitted to travel to India. Any Pakistani national currently in India under SPES visa has 48 hours to leave India. The defense, military, naval and air advisors in the Pakistani High Commission in New Delhi are declared persona non grata. They have a week to leave India. India will be withdrawing its own defense, navy and air advisors from the Indian High Commission in Islamabad. The overall strength of the High Commission will be brought down to 30 from the present 55 through further reductions to be effected by.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in England, yeah, I can see how those two countries are connected. Not. I would say that I'd make sure your passports are handy, because as we've seen in recent years in places like Leicester, the conflict between Pakistan and India does have a habit of tending to spill over onto English streets. So yeah, that's a thing. I guess let's move on to the next news article. This is actually an update on Trump. So for those of you who haven't noticed, Zelensky's in town. Why? Don't know. He came here to apparently talk to Ramaphosa about the peace deal between Russia and Ukraine. Because Ramaphosa's really been efficient at sorting out that problem now. Said no one ever. But apparently he's here to discuss it with Ramaphosa anyway. Not really sure what. In any case, apparently Donald Trump called Ramaphosa to say, here's Zelensky's in town. We're trying to true a truce deal between him and Russia, Ukraine and Russia. Help us out, have a word with the brother, and, maybe we can have a chat. And apparently during the call, Ramaphosa asked Trump for a face-to-face to discuss the ongoing issues between South Africa and the United States. And during that, Donald Trump apparently agreed. So they are due to meet at some point, undisclosed point, where they will discuss the ongoing kerfuffle between the United States and South Africa. Turning then on to some really fun news. I must be honest, as I read this news and I just laughed. I just laughed. And this is the news that the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar, apparently has been taken to court by AfriForum for corruption. Now, it should be noticed that this corruption allegation went before the MPA in 2024, and the MPA at the time declined to prosecute two ANC individuals on the basis that it was not, and I quote, a winnable case. Now, the problem is that according to AfriForum, the case was very winnable, but there was just no appetite from the MPA to prosecute. In fact, according to AfriForum, their specific prosecutor said the evidence was, and I quote, overwhelming. Now, with that being said, they then decided to do a private prosecution. And you have to love the response. Apparently, according to the ANC individual, AfriForum are pursuing a vilification campaign against the MPA for narrow and short-sighted political gains, since the two comrades were vindicated by law enforcement agencies and courts. As if like the MPA doesn't just let go of prosecuting certain ANC cadres because it just wouldn't be very good for their career. Like, we're not stupid. In any case, apparently AfriForum, or, and I quote, "We won't allow white supremacist vultures to canvass on our comrades masquerading as torchbearers of the rule of law assisted by external adversaries." Yep. AfriForum, by trying to pursue justice through the courts, are white supremacists. Yeah, that old chestnut, eh? In any case, let's go on to the Paul Mashatile saga. Yeah, I'm loving this saga. It's just brilliant. The latest news is that apparently the bullet that hits his car wasn't actually a bullet, it was a spray of shotgun pellets. It was just like a random spray. And it was a stray bullet. Pellets. That he thought were actually rocks hitting the windscreen, and then someone told him, no, that's shotgun pellets. He thought it was rocks, chips on the windscreen. Oh, in any case, who cares? It was a stray bullet, and the president's life was at risk. And Peter de Toit actually had a very interesting comment to make, and I'm going to repeat it. And that is, he saw that when Donald Trump was apparently shot at, he was president, because everyone was like, oh, love a good martyr. And it does appear like that's exactly what Paul Mashatile is trying to do. He's trying to be a martyr in order to boost his presidential campaign, which he assures us he is not running for, while simultaneously assuring us that he is. In any case, according to Fikile Mbalula, he was like, how come you never told us about this? We didn't know about this whole assassination attempt. You kept that quiet. And that's giving more credence to the fact that there was no assassination attempt. This is really curious. Now, you see, why this also becomes interesting is that many have now observed that Paul Mashatile's what was going to be a very vocal running for presidency campaign is now like a soft whimper, because he's looking like a tool. Because it's kind of like he called for something and said that his life was under threat, and it wasn't really. And now all the usual stooges that back Paul Mashatile are like, quick, run to his defense. We should have done this sooner. So the EFF has come out and said, well, plans against Paul Mashatile's life were a concern, and an attempt on his life is not only alarming, but poses a significant threat to national security. I'm not sure there was a threat to his life. the guy didn't even know if it was an actual bullet. He thought there were rocks on the stone on the windscreen, until someone was like, nah, it's a gun. Come on, Marcelo. That doesn't sound like you're terrified to me. Just sounds like you're driving through, another one of those African road patches. In any case, the EFF have made it very clear. They'd love a coalition with Paul Mashatile. Paul Mashatile is their guy. They've said numerous times they could railroad that guy through to their century, and they could just get whatever they want. So it comes as no surprise that the EFF are like, hey, Paul. The SSCP, which is also known to back Paul Mashatile, said that apparently the incident was a direct attack on democratic institutions of our republic. Communists decrying democratic institutions, shameless immediately. But in any case, what attack? For such a big attack, how come they didn't even know it was an actual bullet or an actual attack? I say it again. The guy literally thought there were rocks on the windscreen. The ANC were like, oh yeah, I suppose we should defend our guy. So they said, we strongly condemn any actions that seek to undermine the security of our leadership or destabilize the constitutional order. We call for calm, vigilance, and reiterate our confidence in the ongoing investigation, which will show that nothing happened. Because the news is that it's fabricated. Come on, guys. The gig's up. You wanted to have a Trump moment. It didn't happen. Now you look stupid. Move on to the next stunt, guys. Come on. And again, talking of stunts, apparently Godongwana has had to suspend his VAT increase. And it's very interesting, because apparently he's now having to institute an austerity budget and cut spending. He doesn't have the money. And I'm reminded that that's what the DA wanted all the way when they were doing the budget negotiations in the first place. They said all they wanted was there to be some form of austerity, and we can't just keep spending money that we don't have. And everybody was like, oh, DA's anti-poor. Well, accordingly, Godongwana now has to implement the VAT freeze because he can't increase VAT. Really curious. My internet providers have already written to me saying, we told you we'd have a VAT increase. We're going to credit your accounts. So, another day, eh? And I guess the DA claims that this was their victory because they said the reason that Godongwana has now reversed his decision is because their court papers, which was heard yesterday, made it very clear that Godongwana had acted ultra vires. He had acted outside of the remit of what he was allowed to do. Then according to the DA, he was going to end up looking like a complete tool in court for going beyond his office. So he's done the logical thing, backtrack on the VAT increase. And now the DA are having some proper, meaningful conversations with the ANC in order to secure a new budget and what that might look like. Very good. And in typical fashion, all the other political parties are like, DA, I mean, you're taking your position. You say it was your victory. But how are you still even in the GNU? I mean, how can you take a position against anti-government and try to be an opposition party leader whilst running things and just whatever? Dudes, okay, the DA scored a victory. Get over it. The rest of you voted for the VAT increase. You didn't get it. Right? This includes the IFP. You voted for it. You didn't get it. Oh well, move on. That's politics. Shamelessly, though, you gotta love him. Him and Mashatile, he's like, Action SA secured the VAT retreat. A literal tool. You voted for the budget. You asked them to get you something that they told you Futek they're not going to give you, which is a review of the budget. The DA who actually took them to court and voted against the budget, who you called irresponsible, white racists, and the people who are attempting to collapse the country, actually scored the win. And you like, nah, was us. Such a shameless party. Like, who the hell votes for these clowns? And I guess the EFF calls for Godongwana to basically resign from office. They said he now looks like a tool. And so the honourable thing for him to do would be to resign from office and save face. And the ANC have been asked, given that the VAT increase is costing you hugely in terms of the electorate, because the ANC support is an all-time low, what will you do about it? Will you resign from office? And the ANC have said, nah, it will be fine. We'll leave him there. It wasn't really his fault. You may have your own opinion on this. The MK party kind of takes the very same approach, which is maybe he should resign, because when this type of thing happened under Jacob Zuma, they say Zuma was forced to shuffle people around and move him out of office. They're saying it's worrying that Godongwana tried to be a decision maker, unfold a budget that he wasn't allowed to do, and as a result, he's now had to calm down from it, and you're like, yeah, he's fine, leave him in office. Coincidentally, from my personal view, I think he should stay in office. I know how the ANC tends to work, and I know how Treasury tends to work. They generally tend to think that they can do whatever they want. And I love to see these people do it. Because if the continued we'll do whatever we want leads to the type of support that the ANC are losing as a result of these actions, I'm all for it. Let's keep doing it, baby. We can maybe get you down to a 10% party. I'm holding figures, guys. I'm hoping for you. Anyway, in response to this, the ANC speculatively said, have this republic stage 2 load shedding. Some might say it's connected. Others might say it's completely separate, has nothing to do with each other. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Stage 2 a punishment for the budget? Hey, I don't know. Love to hear from you. Anyway, until Monday, bye.